Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to MJ's Maths and Stats. That's MJ Magic Studio to you, and I am your host, your dost, and yes, today again in the ghost mode, Mohit Jain. Today, I would be talking about the recruitment scene, whatever is happening at GS, Goldman Sachs, and I'll talk about three things. I'll talk about their engineering campus hiring program, what are the dates and how this program shall be conducted by them and how we can apply. Number two, the aptitude test they would be conducting, the assessment test they would be conducting, and what would be the format of that particular test. And number three, we'll take a few sample questions from previous term, that is August 2020 uh, recruitment test that they have conducted. We will try to replicate few questions based on the question asked in August 2020. So we are still hoping that in the upcoming February March assessment they would be also following the previous uh, periods pattern. So on that note, let me start first with what they have given on their website. The link to the website, the direct link to the website is there in the description. You may click and you may see everything. Now, what we have seen. The engineering campus hiring program is only for India, and that is identifying the top talent across India to join the engineering function of Goldman Sachs Bengaluru. As far as eligibility is concerned, 2021 analyst, that is, if you are graduating in 2021, you would be hired for full time, and intake would be in May or June. So, if you are graduating in 2022, you may apply there for summer internship of 2021, and the intern hiring would be from April to July. The program type is also clear. Either it would be full time for 2021 pass out, or you may apply as an intern if you are 2022 pass out. City we know it's Bengaluru, and deadline, yes, these dates are very important. Application opens from January 20, 2021, that is 20th January. It have already opened. You may start registering, and closes on February 8, 2021. As far as the overview is concerned, this program is the firm's initiative to identify and hire top engineering talent from across engineering schools in India. As part of the program, candidate needs to go through multiple assessment round. Please mind it, multiple assessment rounds where they would be tested on their programming skills and analytical aptitude. Candidates who successfully make it through the process will be offered a role in an engineering function at GS in Bengaluru. So program timelines, once again, registration have already started. The link is given in the description. It will close on February 8 midnight. Assessment would be from 15th February to 15th March. Anytime they would be sending you an email for that. And after that would be the interviews. Eligibility, once again, this program is open to all engineering students in India across pre-final and final years of graduation, and same is with post-graduation. There are two intakes, one full-time and one is intern. Registration to the program does not guarantee selection. Obviously, we know that we need to write a test and we need to clear all the different rounds. What is there in the test and what is there different rounds? Let's talk about that. Before we move further into the assessment process, let us first register ourselves if we haven't registered till now, and let's hit on the register button and see what different things they are asking at the time of registration. When we hit on the register button, we are like channeled to a page, and there they are prompting us to log in. If you have not registered, register now, and I'm registering as a new user. Registration, first name, last name, email ID, place, university name, degree, expected graduation date, major subjects, and all the information is there which we need to fill in properly. Gender, military experience, ethnicity, race. Do you have or have you previously had a disability, and blah blah blah. The most important part and the vital part here is you need to attach your CV. And when you are attaching your resume or CV, must not contain any information that is confidential to a third party, and must not contain any confidential information or any other government related information that is proprietary or confidential. Please delete any such information from a resume or CV before submitting. Choose file, post it, choose a password for yourself, acknowledge their privacy notice, and submit it. As you submit it, your registration is done and you are ready to take the test. Let's see now what is there in the aptitude test. Based on the test that they have taken on 9th August 2020, I prepared this format that this is the type of test they have asked, and we still believe that this would be the pattern they would be asking this time too. So what was that pattern that they have asked? Aptitude test of GS. The aptitude round is a proctored exam on HackerRank, under which students are randomly allotted the slots in the day, and the test is of 105 minutes, that is 1 hour 45 minutes, with 68 questions. 66 plus 2. I'll discuss what is 66 and what is 2. So the different grouping of the question was numerical computation. 8 questions were there, where it was level of difficulty was easy to medium. A mathematical touch of questions were there related to probability, permutation and combination, and other arithmetic topics. And we have enough mock tests related to these topics on our channel. The playlist link is there in the description. Please go through it and practice those questions for numerical computation. Next was abstract reasoning, where 12 questions were asked. Mostly what will be in the next figure in the series types of question. Pictures are given. What would be the next one? These are popularly known as non-verbal reasoning or I for detail type questions. Level of difficulty here was easy. Comprehension based 10 questions were there. 2 to 3 comprehension would be there. With each comprehension there would be 2-3 questions or one short paragraphs and one short question attached to it. They may be situational based question also. So in the sample question we'll take up 1 or 2 example of what we mean by the situation based questions, and I'll take a few examples of abstract reasoning and diagrammatic reasoning also, which is also part of an abstract reasoning. I've just bifurcated it. Both are of same kind. These all are also related to some picture formats or some pattern. And here also 12 questions were there. Questions may be regarding odd one out, what will come next, find the missing figure, maybe like mirror image, water image, find the dot position, anything, and links to all different videos related to non-verbal reasoning, which we have prepared like 3-4 months ago. I have given links in the description. Please go through that for more practice. Next was logical reasoning. Again 12 questions were there. It were mostly type of verbal reasoning. The topics we know majorly coding, decoding, odd one out. Major like 50% of the questions were from coding and odd one out. Numerical reasoning is more to do with numbers. So it would be again pictures format, but number puzzles would be there. Number puzzles, you can say, or like five men sitting on five chairs. He's not sitting with him or her. Like that kind of questions also features in numerical reasoning. So altogether, we can see we have like from numerical, it was 8. From reasoning, be it verbal or non-verbal, there were 12 into 4 section, that is 48. And comprehension type question, there were 10. 10 plus 40, 58 plus 8 is 66. So 66 questions were of MCQ types, where plus 5 you will get for correct answer and minus 2 for wrong answer, and this is how you can have your score. Now you must be wondering that where are those two questions? Apart from these, two subjective questions may also be asked, each of 10 marks. 66 into 5 is 330, plus 10 is 20. Total marks of the paper is 350. Okay, now what kind of questions are these? These subjective questions you need to type in. These are both related to HR. For example, what motivates you to follow your goals? They may ask you and may ask you to write that. And mind it, you need to write that in that 1 hour 45 minutes only. And one question which was asked the previous term was this: if your college final exam and interview of your dream company will be on the same day, then what will you choose? So one thing what I have come to know about GS is the testing pattern is not of aptitude kind. The testing pattern is basically more of IQ, EQ, and psychometrics test kind. 90% of the questions are based on IQ. IQ test. You can take up different IQ tests which are available over the internet at many places. On my channel, on one of the playlists of Tech Mahindra, you will find one IQ test solution, and one IQ test link is also there. I'll also try to give that link in the description. For EQ or the psychometric test, and what we have heard from this company internal people, like that if you are not good at this EQ or psychometric test, or if you are not writing this particular portion correctly, or if your write-up is doesn't showing them or doesn't emitting a positive energy, a positive approach, a positive attitude, whatsoever be the score, you might not get selected for further rounds. It might happen that after writing this so-called aptitude test, which I think that I'll call it IQ or cognitive test, after this you will be asked to write a psychometric test. Many videos are already there on our channel under the playlist EIQ related to different psychometric tests. Please go through it. It would be really an help to you. On this note, best wishes to everyone who are sitting for GS, and I think you people must be also applying because it's free. You can apply if you are 2021 or 2022 pass out for different jobs at GS, and if you want to go to Bengaluru, India, because right now recruitment is only for Bengaluru. On that note, I have like 15 good questions related to IQ and abstract reasoning. I'll give you 15 minutes, 1 minute for each question. Go through it, try to solve it, mark it, and come back to see the solution. Question number 1, we need to identify which of these A, B, C, D, E, F should be featuring at this question mark. 1, 2, this goes down, and again we can see that after these 4 pictures, this picture is being repeated. This is same as this. So it's very obvious that we may try that this particular position should be this diagram, isn't it? Does it feature in any one of the option? Yes, it features in option A. Option A best fits in. Next, number 2, which particular sequence should fit in there so that everything matches? Okay, as I'm going through it, what I can see that there is a definite pattern that number of circles here are 2. Here this particular 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 star sign are also 2. Number of circle 1, this is 1. Number of circle are 3, this is 3. So here 2, 2, 1, 1, 2, 2. There is no circle, no star. 2, 2, 2, 2. So here also we will have such a space, such a figure where number of these stars and number of double circles should be same. Here it is different, here it is different, here is no circle, here 3 and 4 different, here 2 and 1 different, here 3 stars and 3 circles are there. So out of the given option, option F fits in. Answer should be F. Okay, number 3. Again the same sequence arrow, but there is some trick. These are different kind of figures. Okay, below is also some instruction which might need to be followed. Okay, what I can see here is number of cross are 3. Here number of triangles are 3. Here there is no crosses, no triangles, 0. 1 cross, 1 triangle. 2 cross, 2 triangles, 2 cross, 2 triangle. So if I have 2 crosses here, I should have such a diagram where I should have at least no, I should have only 2 triangles. Do we have any options like this? 2 triangles option, this is 5, this is 2, this is 1, this is 4, this is 1, this is 3. Then obviously option E will fit in. Practice more to have confidence on these kind of questions. Next one, if I can see what should be the answer, A, B, C, D, E or F. Okay, here these 3 are gray arrow and here we have 3 shaded. 1 gray arrow, 1 shade. 1 gray arrow, 1 shade, 1 gray arrow, 1 shade, 2 gray arrow, 2 shades. We have 3 gray arrows. I should have such a diagram where I should have 3 shaded portion. 3 shaded portion. Let's see, does it match? 1 shade, 3 shaded portion, 2 shade, 2 shade, 1 shade and 5 shade. So I think E is the best fit. Yes, E is the best fit, where number of gray arrows is same as number of shaded portion in the diagram given above arrow diagrams. Question number 5. Okay, 2 parallel, 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 parallel. I think this one easy. 1 L should be here in the middle, and then L low, L up, middle low, and then the rest one are 2 parallel lines. Middle L but not 2 parallel lines, so all option gone. The best thing is to eliminate options also. I do these kind of question majority of the time with the options elimination, and it hits, it works actually. So here option B should fit in. Number 6, which should fit in. This why I've taken this example is just to show you that sometimes there might not be any pattern, but and if there is no pattern, we call them noise sums. Here I can see that we have this telephone in all blocks in north west corner. So in this option A, we have in northwest corner, no telephone. Option C is there, not in D, not in E. So I have three options to select from, A, C or F. Now I can also see that in the southeast also there is one telephone. So out of these options, this gone because there is no telephone in southeast. Yes, this is southeast, na southeast. And here we have telephone, but in C we don't have. So we are left with only option F. So I'll plug in F here, and this particular sequence will fit in. These two telephones are the only hint. Otherwise, whatever is moving inside is a noise. It doesn't show any pattern. Okay, the next one, number 7. I think it is pretty easy to deduct. 2 circles, then vanishes, and then 2 circles. We should have something where there is no circle. Now we can see this crescent movement. It is moving 90 degree, and then it should also move 90 degree. It should come like this, and then if it moves 90 degree, it will become this. Yes, so it is basically 90 degree clockwise movement, and without any circle. I'll go for option A. Okay, number 8. Now how to find this? We can see that the first top layer of all 4 black dots are same in all these 5 boxes. So I can eliminate. Can I eliminate? Yes, I can eliminate E. Otherwise it's same. In the second row, this shaded is same at the second position. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then here it is, here it is, here it is, here it is, here it is. Great. Now how to identify pattern? Can I see this? These two are black. These are moving up. Now these two are black. These two are moving up. Now these two are black. Again these two are moving up, and it becomes black here. Now if we can see that here these two blacks have come down to this position number 3. 1, 2, 3. So that means in this particular diagram it should be 2 blacks on this second one. 2 blacks are there, 2 blacks are there. Here no 2 blacks, no 2 blacks, no 2 blacks. So I'm left with only option D and option F. But when there are 2 blacks here, other things would be white except the first one, because those are constant blacks. So if the second one is black, the third row and the fourth row, last 2 parts should be white. Here it's these 4 are not white. Here these 4 are whites. I'll leave option F. I'll go with option D. I for detailed type of questions, and these type of questions need practice. That's it. Okay, for the numerical reasoning, these kind of puzzles, these kind of question may be asked, and you might get answer in first go, or you might need to do something permutation combination with this number and try to identify the pattern in the first 2, and then try to locate that particular pattern in the last one. So 32, 21, no, 56 minus 12. Okay, here I can see it is 56 minus 12, that is 44. Can I see the same here? 63 minus 32 is 31, bingo. So it should be 50 minus 12, that is 38. So 38 should feature here. 10th one. See, it is again a type of coding, decoding type of questions, but being presented with help of pictures, so that might feature in like numerical reasoning part. And one more thing, in the first part or the numerical reasoning part, a lot of data interpretation can also be asked. So I'll recommend you people to also go through videos which we have done for data interpretation, like pie diagrams, pie charts basically, line diagrams, tables, combined line diagrams, bar diagrams. Please go through these. You might not, I'm sure you will get questions from data interpretation. Now coming back to question number 10, what should feature here? So if I try to identify A, if I miss out B, I'll get C. If I miss out D and E, I'll get F. Then G, H, I, I'll get J. That means 1 missing, then 2 missing, then 3 missing. So after J should be 4 missing. I, J, K, L, M, N, and that means O should feature here in place of the question mark. Okay, the next one, number 11. What number should replace the question mark? There is the question mark. Try to work out there. Then I can locate this as, this is simply the column addition. If we can see 29, 736 is 5, 6, 765 matching. 29 plus 736 is 765. Therefore 96 plus 427 is 312, 523. 23 matches here. So in place of question mark, we should have 5. Next, number 12. You must have done this, and let's try to locate what should be the relationship among these two pictures, and that particular relationship should be used here, isn't it? So 93, 63, 39. 93 plus 63 is 156. Now 39, if I divide 156 by 39, I'll get 4. Or I can say 156 divided by 4 is 339. Let me see if I can fit it here. 72 plus 44 is 116. By 4 is 29. Bingo, it's fitting. So it goes like this. If it is A, B, then C. C is equals to A plus B by 4, or you can say A plus B is equals to 4C. This is the logic they've been used here. So A plus B in this diagram is 47 plus 13, that is 60. If I divide that by 4, I'll get 15. So value in place of question mark should be 15. Next, number 13 it was, what number should logically replace the question mark? Again, we need to try and find out if this is A, this is B, this is C, how these A, B, C are related to each other. So like 33 into 5 is 165. And if I divide 165 by 11, what I'll get? 15. So this was B, C, and this was A. So can I say B into C by A is 15? That means 15A is equals to B into C. Can I fit it? I'll agree on this only when if it fits in with the next one also. 15 into 12 is 180, and 45 into 4 is also 180. Bingo, it fits in. So here also B into C is 120. So if this is A, then 15A is 120. A should be equals to 120 by 15. That is equals to 8. Number 14, was a situational example where a situation is given and you were supposed to identify the best fit in and the worst fit in. You have been really busy all month working on a client's project that has proven to be challenging and interesting at the same time. You have been working closely with a little experienced or less experienced colleague, and there have been a number of difficulties over the course of the project. You have handled them well together. You have handled it good. Your colleague has needed some support and coaching from you, but you have seen their confidence grow. There is still a significant amount of work to be left to do, but your manager has now asked you to lead another project involving staff from a department you have not worked with before. How do you respond? You are doing good with the project, but now when the project is just 10-20% left, he is shifting you to some other department and you don't know what you will be facing there in that department. And from the four given option, we need to choose. So we need to choose the most likely and least likely respond. Be honest with your manager. Accept the second project and explain to your manager that you will work extra hours. Tell your manager that you would love to take on the second project and make assurance that you will successfully deliver both by giving your colleague on the first project more autonomy, but will continue to regularly meet with them and be on hand for issues as they arise. Agree to take on the second project, but set up daily calls with your less experienced colleague who is working on first project to ensure that they remain on track and that you keep everything that is happening. That way you can continue. This seems to be fine, but I think I'll agree more with option C, because here the communication is what they are looking out for, whether you can communicate properly with your superior and your colleagues. Be honest with your manager, outlining that your current project and your colleague will continue to need your input until the end of the first project. If you say this gives a negative impact that in spite of the fact that that particular your colleague which was not good at work was working with you and still he haven't reached to a better upliftment, that explain that you are not a good communicator, not a good team player, not a good person who can help your colleagues grow. Explain that you don't want to desert them and see the project fail. You can't use this word fail, it is negative. So if I'm there, C would be my most likely answer and A would be my least likely answer. Now, professionally and technically, why I have chosen option C as the most likely, because this response shows that you are full of enthusiasm about extra responsibility and that you have thought of ways to ensure both projects can successfully be delivered. You are also demonstrating that you can empower and support your colleague without having to get involved in all of the day-to-day delivery issues. It shows how good you are at communicating. And I have chosen A as least likely because as you can see, your manager is demonstrating trust in you by offering you the opportunity to lead a project within a different department. He's showing trust on you. As a graduate, you need to grasp opportunities like this with full positive energy and find ways to ensure all projects are delivered successfully, isn't it? That's what the trust is. By declining their offer, you may be missing out on opportunities further down the line. Maybe in future, manager will again not come back to you. One more paragraph, and that was simple question number 15, and you must be having your answer now. You have been at client's site all week as part of an audit team. You have been working long hours, but the team has made a lot of progress. It is now mid afternoon on Friday, and you check your emails before leaving. There is one that stands out, and it is from a small but growing client that you have been working with very closely for the last 6 months. You have a good relationship with the person who sent the email. They have a question which they need the answer to as a matter of urgency. The response will require you to access a number of files at your own office before you can respond in full. And you are on the verge of leaving. What would be your next step? We have read the passage and we are supposed to find out the most likely and the least likely respond. Respond to the email as best you can before leaving without having access to the key files, and tell the clients that you will double check everything first thing on Monday. Client is in hurry. He is a good client. He was expecting you to answer promptly. Call the client immediately. Look at this respond to find out exactly when they need the information. Never judge. And if you are in any sense of judgment type syndrome, call and ask. If they do need it this evening, you can pop back to the office and talk them through the key information and then provide a more in-depth written response on Monday. Over the phone, you can give them the response, and the entire project report can be submitted or the detailed response on Monday. You can enjoy your weekends. Reply immediately. Wonderful. Telling the client that you need to get more information for them before you can give them an answer in full. And with that in your mind, you will get back to them first thing on Monday morning as a priority. You need more information that gives the client the hint that you want to actually postpone this assignment and you don't want to do it right now. Leave the email for now very bad, too negative, and deal with it first thing on Monday morning. The client will have received your out of office response anyway and may have contacted a colleague already. That's again not good. So for me, B is the most likely answer. See, by calling the client, you are ensuring that you are responding according to the needs. It may be that they can wait for the information, but it is important to establish this, the relation. It recognizes that even a simple verbal response must be correct and have access to the correct files is vital. As they are your client, it is important that you demonstrate your willingness to go that extra mile. The client will remember this. And as far as the least likely one is concerned, I'll go for option D, which is the most negative one. D is the least likely for me. This is a client you have been working with very closely for 6 months. So it is you they need help from, not your other colleagues. By ignoring the email completely, it is evident that you are not prepared to go that extra mile, isn't it? You have a good relationship with them. So please, simply ignoring them is not good. And simply ignoring them is not what they will expect actually from you. Most likely, I'll go for B. I'll call them up, and the least likely is I will avoid them. On this very note, I'll just ask you to do one thing. Enough link is given in the description about non-verbal reasoning, abstract reasoning, different videos. Practice it. Practice situational questions. Practice small paragraphs where a question would be asked and you just need to answer like true, false, or you don't know. That kind of question can also be asked. GS aptitude test is different. Believe me, it's different. Best wishes to all of you who are preparing for GS, and I'll suggest that whosoever is watching this video, the link is there in the description. Hit on the link, register yourself before 8th of February for this particular season 2021 and sit for the test. There is no harm in taking the test. On this very note, on this hope that you people will take the test and will do good, I'm Mohit Jain signing off from MJ's Maths and Stats. That's MJ Magic Studio to you. I'll see you soon. And the great news is I'm coming back with 5 different mock tests on TCS NQT. Those are all lined up. Stay connected, stay tuned with us, and please do subscribe to the channel. एक like, एक comment बनता है, isn't it? If banta hai, then you're supposed to do that too. Do share the videos if you like, and I'll see you soon. Thank you everyone for participating.